Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, guys. Thank you for joining our webinar, Unlock Your True Potential with Coach Nisha. In today's session, it will be a little bit different from our regular session because we will running it in English. So you can also practice your English both passively or actively. So before we start, I want to acknowledge you about the rules in this webinar. First, please mute your audio, except it allowed by the speakers to speak. And second, use raise hand feature to ask for speaking. And third, please fill the absentee link to get the certificate in the end of the session. Are we clear, guys? Okay, I will see silent as a yes. Next, I want to introduce you to our speaker today, Coach Nisha. I want to share screen about the resume of Coach Nisha. So Coach Nisha is a professional certificate coach, international coach, who focus on and already certified in life and leadership coaching with over 20 years experience in corporate leadership and developing human. She was a vice president of for American Women Association and also coach and mentor at ATI Mirage at Perth, Aussie, and head of training and mentoring on both Allen Hamilton in Houston. So that's a short intro for our speaker today, Coach Nisha. Hello, Coach Nisha.
Hello, Partington. Thank you for the introduction. I appreciate
Okay,
it.
you're welcome. So are you ready to inspire us?
Yes, I am ready if you're ready.
Okay, so guys, please enjoy. Without further ado, let's get started. Coach Nisha, please, your session.
Thank you so much. And I want to welcome you all. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you attending. And if you could also, Partington, share the PowerPoint presentation, that would be great.
Okay. Oh.
So thank you. So this is a three-part session in English, and it's all connected to coaching, but it's split up into three modules. And we created a brief outline, a presentation, just to show you what is involved in this session one. And basically, as you know, that it's all about unlocking true potential of ourselves. And so in order to understand ourselves and to get to that unlocking of the true potential, we need to go through a discovery of self, of ourselves. And so basically, it's through the coaching that will enable us to discover ourselves, to be able to unlock the potential. So everything ties in, and the like almost like a band around us, and with coaching gearing us to get to unlock ourselves. And so I'm here to help you as young students as you venture out into the open world, be it additional studies or be it in the job market. But whatever we do, we all still need to understand ourselves better. And so coaching will enable us to do that. So in this first session, which is I would call module one, is involving us to understand our mindset, understanding what it is that we have to do within ourselves to be able to get to unlock our potential. And that's pretty much what the first session, the first module is about. If you could go to the next slide, please, Atinta. So this says that the module is split up into three, and we call it a navigate the journey because it's almost like a roadmap. It's almost like we're driving from the destination that we are here now to the destination that we want to be in the future. And the future destination that we want to get to is really that goal. And that goal for us is what is our desire? What is our dream? Where is it that we want to be in the future to be able to get to the job that we desire, or the studies that we desire, or whatever our future holds for us. The next slide, please. So I've put down basically high-level agenda for this. This is for the whole 3 sessions, but I think it's good for you to see what the other 2 sessions are involved, should you be interested to attend the 3 package. And basically what's involved is, in this first module, is understanding ourselves better. And that's really to do with the coaching mindset. And I'll talk a little bit about the coaching mindset as we get more heavily into module 1 in a few moments. So in order to understand ourselves better and unlock our potential, we need to be able to proceed through a procedure of self-discovery. And what that involves is, I've broken it down into a few components, is how do we know who we are? How do we get direction and guidance from others to get to where we want to go? And what is the map, the roadmap to get there? These are the 3 major components. And another big piece about understanding ourselves through the process of self-discovery is the coaching aspect. And when I say the coaching aspect, I'm really referring to ICF, International Coach Federation core competencies. And there are 11 or so core competencies, but the 3 main competencies that are really related to unlocking our true potential is the presence, it's the active listening, and it's the powerful questioning. Because if you understand these 3 main core competencies, we would understand ourselves better to be able to unlock and get to our goal eventually. So that will be discussed a little bit more in the second module coming up. And the 4th part in this agenda is adopt a new individual coaching plan. And this is really the end result. If you understand yourself better, if you know what type of person you are, if you get mentorship and guidance and help, then you will be able to develop a roadmap. And then if you attach or connect to the 3 core competencies, presence, active listening, and powerful questioning, then you will be able to then have the tools to create and customize your own roadmap to reach your destination, to unlock your true potential, I believe. Next slide, please. So that was the high level of, all 3 sessions. And the components of the 3 modules are, in this module, this session, I will be talking about that coaching mindset. I will be talking about how do we outline our main goals? How do we understand ourselves better? I will also be talking about what is the best method to achieve our goals, and that is through our process of self-discovery, which you'll find out shortly. And then after we've understood ourselves better and understand our personality and what type of person we are, we've got really the first piece of the roadmap. And then in the second module, we'll get a little bit more deeper in understanding, are we present? Are we actively listening? Are we, adopting to the core common 11 core competencies, or the 3 main competencies that ICF questions ourselves. Are we questioning ourselves better to reach our goal? And then in the 3rd module, we will have really, I'll call it a new habit, because if we understand ourselves better, then we basically adjusted ourselves. We've taught ourselves something new. So I call that a habit, because it's a learned behavior, something that we can take as a tool to adapt to, and then take on to craft our new roadmap for ourselves. So we have the tools, we are able to craft the roadmap, and then we can navigate. And how do we do that? Basically, we ask those questions, we find out our personality type, we find out what the barriers are, because so far I've talked a lot about what we can do, but there may be obstacles in the way, and that's something we also need to be aware of in our stage of journey of self-discovery. When we've actually understood in module 2 about the core competencies, then we will know where are we now? What is the gap between what I understand myself now in module up to module 2 to get to the end goal, which is unlocking our true potential. So that gap will give us an ability of what else, what further is needed by us to accomplish us to get to the end, the destination, I would say, because it is a roadmap. And that's where we want to be, what is needed. Next slide, please. So a more detailed outline of module 1 is about determining the goals. And in order to determine the goals, we have to put in a mindset that is of a coaching style, because eventually we need to adapt to the core competencies. Eventually, we need to ask ourselves the right question. Eventually, we need to change ourselves to this new habit to become an effective leader to unlock our true potential. So you might ask yourself, what is a coaching mindset? Well, there are many, many definitions of what it is, but broken down in its simplest form is what I put up here. And that is, the coaching mindset is how to help people grow and achieve their goals. The ability to move forward from the present. It takes a lot of creativity and curiosity. It provides a foundation of intent. A lot of words there. Basically, what it's saying is that we have to grow and understand ourselves better, and we have to adopt that coaching mindset, which will give us the ability to do that, because growing enables us to move forward, to be unstuck, because we want to unstuck and find out our true potential. So that's what the coaching mindset would enable us to do. And I've also added, it takes a lot of creativity and curiosity, because if we ourselves don't ask or inquire about what is it in me that will enable me to get from point A to point B, how can I change myself and adapt to reach my goals? How can I unstuck myself? Well, if I'm not willing to be curious, or if I'm not willing to question myself or understand myself better, then I won't get to point B, and then I won't get to unlock my true potential and be, let's say, a productive person in this workforce, or in the goal that I want to achieve. I will just be stuck, and I'll be rotating in the same position. I want to move forward. So that's why I use the term growth. It's very important to grow. And in order to grow, we have to really understand ourselves better and be willing to question ourselves deeply. And also to be able to take advice from others, good and bad, so that we can change within ourselves. Because sometimes you may hear the word constructive criticism. That helps us grow. It's not a criticism. It's something to help us change, to be better, to be the better version of ourselves, I should say. So that's really the intent for module 1, is ask ourselves questions, find out what it is that makes me who I am, and what it is that can make me become somebody who I want to be, or reach the goals that I want to reach for. And so I would also want to say that in order to ask ourselves the right questions, we need to understand who we are. And I find, to understand who we are, maybe we need to understand what type of person we are. And when I say what type of person, I would say maybe a personality. An understanding of our personality would be helpful. So am I, an active person? Am I a driver person? Am I a passive person? Am I empathetic? So if we understand ourselves better, then we can adapt to our goals better, or we may need to adjust ourselves if the goal that we want to be doesn't match who we are. So it's that adjustment that is needed as well. So we do need to understand ourselves by our traits and by our character and by our personality. Next slide, I believe. Okay, thanks. So the initial goal is to achieve, maybe I shouldn't say goal, but the initial objective is to achieve our goals. So the question is, how do we go about achieving our goals? Well, we do need to ask the right questions to gain clarity. What is it that I want? What am I looking for? One question is, I'm here in this position now. Where is it that I want to be, for example, 2 to 3 years in future? So what is it? Where can I see myself in the future? Could be a type of question. If you ask yourself this question, then you can start to adapt to what is needed to get to that point. Another question could be, how would you describe your personality? So what type of personality defines me, and how would that enable me, or in fact disable me, to reach the goal? And if it does disable me, how can I adapt and change my personality to reach that goal? Another question could be, what makes me me? What makes me unique? And what are my strengths? Maybe it could also be, maybe the goal that you want for yourself may be different after you have understood yourself better. For example, if I find that I have certain strengths and I'm unique in a certain way, after I've explored myself better and understood myself with these questions, then maybe I would readjust my goal for the future based on something that I have found with myself. I've discovered myself that is unique. And this self-discovery is called awareness. And it's very powerful because this awareness will enable us to find and learn things about ourselves that we didn't know that we had, something unique about that ourselves that we didn't know we thought possible, or something that we always, suppressed because we thought we didn't have it within us. And the reason we thought we didn't have it within us was because we didn't ask the right questions, or we didn't do that process of self-discovery. So that is very, very crucial to make us learn and get even new awarenesses of ourselves. And I just said a few minutes ago that the goal that we have for ourselves might end up being different after we've gone through the process of self-discovery. And I just wanted to share with you that is another part of coaching, because when somebody is being coached, they may have an initial set of goals where they want to achieve in the session, where they want to go, what is their outcome. But then as they're being coached throughout that session, could be an hour or so, then the goal does change after the client realizes something about themselves and it doesn't necessarily fall in line with the initial goal moving forward. So my point is that coaching and this journey of self-discovery is continuously changing, and that is a good thing as well. Next slide, please. So I'll just quickly, briefly talk about this, but this will be the next module. So after we've understood ourselves better, then, actually I can talk about this because this will help you regarding your personality. The type of personality that we have when we understand ourselves better in this module will enable us to be that leader that we want to be able to lead and customize our lives to reach for our goals. So in module 2, we would start to explore the types of leadership styles. And I've listed them out here, such as authoritative, participative, delegative. And I think transformational is very, very key here, because that is the one that gives us our deep learning, our deep awareness, and truly enables us to get that shift of that gap that I talked about earlier. Where is it that we are now, and where is it that we want to be, and how we can close that gap to be able to get to the end goal. Next slide. So when we understand ourselves better, and when we want to enable us to become an effective leader, there are many components that tie in with that, and such as communication. Communication is a very big factor in understanding ourselves better, to be a better leader, and it also ties in with the core competencies, the awareness, the questioning, the listening, the presence. And powerful questioning is a very key factor, which is a key component to this module 1, because we are going to assess ourselves. We are going to ask ourselves questions. Who am I? What makes me me? What makes me unique? What is my character? What are my traits? What is it that I have that is special, that can be used as a driving force to enable me to unlock my true potential? So I want to stop at this stage, and I want to ask anybody if they have any questions for me. because it's a lot of sharing and a lot of information that I convey to you. And if I could get some input of your thoughts, comments, questions, that would be appreciated. Does anybody have any questions or any statement that they would like to share? Don't be afraid.
So we will wait to the question. I have a question for you, Nisha. So I have interested about the three competencies that you already shared: present, active
Yep.
listening, and powerful questioning, right?
Yep.
Okay. So how about the difference between the active listening and the listening? Different between active listening and the regular listening? That
Oh, okay. Active listening is really about paying full attention to what the other person is saying. And sometimes we may think that we're listening, but we're not really paying 100% full attention to the other person. And by that, I mean, it's not just about listening to the words, but it's also listening to the tonal value, listening to the facial expression, listening to the body language, and any other non-verbal cues as well. And so it really is that deep listening to the other person and not just the voice itself. Does
okay?
that
Thank you,
answer your
Nisha.
question?
Yes.
And okay. And I just wanted to add on that before we start to answer the questions, if I may. A great question, Tintin. And active listening is very important in coaching because a lot of coaching is done by nonverbal cues or signals around with the with the expression or with the tone or with the silence even. You'll be very surprised that sometimes when I do the coaching to the clients and there's a big silence and I'm actually listening for that silence, because then it could give me some cue that something is going on there with the client as well. So it's almost like you're being hypersensitive to many things around, in addition to what the client is saying.
Okay.
Thank you for that question.
So we have two questions, Nisha, from the participant.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
the first is from Rafika. Then he want to asking directly. So Rafika, you can
Okay.
open your audio and asking directly to Coach Nisha, please.
Okay, thank you for letting me to ask. Before that, I want to introduce. My name is Rafika. You told us before we have to be productive person to unlock our true potential, but it's really hard to deal with my laziness. At first time, I told myself to be productive person today, but I'm just laying on my bed at the end. Would you like to give me an advice to be a productive person later? Thank you beforehand.
Hi, hello, Rafika. I guess I won't ask you to put your video on it since you're lying on your bed. That might not want, you may not want that, but I'll still ask you, I'll offer you up to you. So yeah, I mean, being productive is a key part to be able to achieve our goal. But if we are not productive, it will be a struggle to get to it. But I think it all comes down to, is that what you want? I mean, if you really truly desire to reach a particular goal at the end of a year, 6 months, whatever time frame you put on it, then that is up to you to be accountable and to hold yourself ready to take the action steps to reach the goal. But if, as you say, being lazy is inhibiting you, Rafika, from getting in the way, from getting to your goal, it is getting in the way, then maybe I could give you, a quick mini session and ask you, what is it that is inhibiting you from achieving your goal, Rafika?
Hello, Rafika.
Pardon me. May you try to? I can't catch your point. Sorry. Can you repeat again?
Okay, so
Okay.
I'll say yes, sure. So in summary, what I said is, if you truly want to reach for a particular goal, then we ourselves have to be accountable to get to the goal. But if something is getting in the way, then my understanding is to perhaps, if I can explore, what is it that is stepping in the way of you reaching your goal, Rafika?
Oh, I actually I just write and do plan. I make a plan, but after that I still laying on my bed and didn't do anything at the end. So I just I can't bear with my laziness, and it's sometimes depressed me.
Okay. Rafika.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
for my English.
It's okay.
No, not at all. Thank you for your question. This is all very helpful for you, I'm hoping, and for the audience as well. Another aspect that comes into my mind is sometimes if you are in this situation, and it's nice to hear, and I want to acknowledge you for initializing the agenda and putting the steps down to reach your goals, but you haven't quite achieved them. But that's a first step. That's a progress that you've put down what you want to achieve. So give yourself credit for the first step of doing that. So another thing or another aspect that comes to my mind is sometimes in coaching, we have what's known as an accountability partner, or we ask you if there's anybody that could support you in achieving your goals, or enable you to, it's almost like encourage you and help you and check in on you once in a while, that are you achieving it? Are you doing the next steps to reach for those goals? So I might want to ask you that same question, Rafika, if that if you have anybody that could, support you in this journey, that might help you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Miss. It really helped me. Your advice. I will try to be a better and productive person later. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you, Rafika.
Thank you, Rafika. Actually, your English is good, so you don't need to sorry. So
Oh,
we are next to the next questions is from Anastasia Christina. Hello, Anastasia. Thank you for your question. And the question is, how do we handle a shy person as a
how do
coach?
we handle a shy person? Okay. So what you're saying is, if the coach is coaching a shy person, how would that coach handle the shy person?
Yeah, maybe
Is that correct?
maybe as a coach or as a leader. Hello, Anastasia. Can you confirm your question?
So if the client or she is a shy person, how would we handle?
Yes. Okay. As a leader, maybe, I think. So how can we handle a shy person?
Oh,
Coach.
she's saying she's a leader, but she has to handle a shy person. That's what you're saying. Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Nisa. As a coach, I'm sorry. As a
Okay.
coach, to handle a shy person.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. That's a good question, actually, because, you know, in my experience as coaching, I've when I'm coaching non-shy people, it sometimes can be challenging to get them to answer questions. So it becomes more of a challenge when I'm coaching a shy person as well. And basically, coaching is a conversation. It's not an interview. There's no there is an equilibrium. We are equal partners and we're co-creating together. So one aspect that comes to my mind as I see this question is that trust and intimacy in the old core competencies, but it's pretty much the same. But it's that trust. So if if the coach with their client can establish that trust from the very beginning with the coaching agreement, with the way that they ask the questions, that warmness, if I might use my term, my own word, will then create an environment that is sharing and comforting. And so a shy person may find it more easy to converse when the coach has really established the foundation in a way. So I guess if the coach has the ability to create that environment of trust and intimacy and co-creation together, then that would enable the shy person to feel more comfortable and to open up perhaps. Another thing that comes to my mind is that, like I said earlier, it's not an interview, it's an equal conversation. And when I say conversation, what also is very important is the conversation, although it's coach and client, but the conversation is the questions by the coach should be very open-ended type of questions. And so the more the open-ended style of questions, the more the ability for that freedom for that shy person to feel comfortable, to not feel questioned or interrogated, to feel a safe space to be able to explore together. And these are key components or key traits that the coach can set up in order to help the shy person to open up. Does that answer your question? I don't have who asked the question. Do you have it, Tintin? Is it
Yeah,
Anastasia?
Anastasia
Yes.
Christina.
Anastasia, does that make it easier for you?
Hello, Anastasia.
She's on mute.
Unmute.
Yeah.
Yes, you can, please.
Sure. I hope that answers your question, Anastasia. If say again?
Thank you for the chance Thank you for the answer. Yes, exactly. The communication, comfort place, perhaps to help a shy person, because the fact I found that some people have more ability, more like innovation or creativity mind, but the gap is, yeah, I'm shy. I can stand out for speak louder, but yeah, they so full of innovation. They so full of um, passion, but the gap is, or um, the gap, or we can call um, problem is I'm shy. I can't. So thank you for uh, the answer. It helps me as a person and probably can help to others to be a brave, to be sorry for some annoyance.
It's okay.
Sorry. So thank you so much for the answer.
Yeah. No.
I can apply it for myself and then also for the others. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Anastasia, for your
much.
question. And I also wanted to add one more thing as you were sharing with me, is that you said yourself you're shy, but also in order to help the coaching conversation, if you find that either you're shy or if the client is who you're talking to is shy, then you would adapt and go a little softer to match the personality that the client is, instead of being too extreme. So what my point is that you try and sense what the client is and adapt the coaching session according to the client. So you get a match.
Yes, of course. Can we for example, myself, can I join for some communities or friends that also have a problem with a shy person, but they also have a patient, they also have innovation or yeah knowledge, but
Ab-
yeah, in one communities.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because this is like common groups,
Yeah.
like user groups and workshops where you would get help from what works for them or what doesn't work for them, or let's try this and let's not try that. And you can get strategies from each other because you have the common issue. So that's very good idea, and that's a good suggestion. And you give a lot and you get a lot from these types of groups.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Great idea. Yeah. Thank you for your question.
Okay, we hope that's answer your question, Anastasia. And Nisa, we still have 3 questions. Do you want to answer it now, or do you want going to the next session?
Sure, because I've covered the gender for all 3 modules. So if I could answer the questions, would that be okay now?
Okay. So
Yeah.
the next question
Um,
is from Nadia Rahma. The question is,
uh-huh.
hello, my name is Nadia. How do you convince our parents, for those who live with their families, that we have our own goals that may be different than theirs? Because sometimes the parent acts or force their children to do as they want, while sometimes their children is not able to do it. Thank you. So different
Okay.
between the
Okay.
children and the parents' goals.
Yeah. Yeah. Good question, Nadia. It's a common concern with parents and children, trying to achieve their personal goals, but then also trying to satisfy the goals that their parents want of them, but it's not the same most of the time. So your question is asking, how do we convince our parents? And especially for those who we live with them. Well, I guess the question is, it seems like from what I'm hearing from this short session in the chat, from what you have written, that when you use the word convince, that you've decided in a way that your goals are different to that of your parents. So the approach you're looking for is how to tell them that. That can be quite a challenge because you don't want to be in a clash with your parents when they have certain dreams and aspirations and yours might be a totally different track. But, you know, all the coaching is all about having a conversation, because coaching is a conversation. And if we don't talk, we won't know. And so I think really is just have that conversation. I mean, you don't want it to be an argument. You don't want it to be a fight of, you know, I'm doing it my way and no way. But just have that conversation with your parents. And I guess, I mean, even you want to convince and tell them that this is your goal, but just telling them truly, what is it that you truly desire? What is it that you truly want in life? And maybe then, maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know that your goals are different. Maybe they don't know how truly desirable your goals are. Maybe they would learn something from you that they didn't already know. So I would just, you know, tell them as if you're telling yourself. What is it that you truly desire? As if you were talking in a mirror, you know, this is what I want. And they will see the compassion. I'm sure they will see your drive, your power, that, you know, this is what I want. So I guess just be who you are and just tell them straight out and have that conversation, Nadia. Does that answer your? Yes, Nadia. Does that answer your question, Nadia?
So Nadia said the case is they already know my goals, but they still force me to do it.
Sorry, I didn't see that.
Hello, coach.
Yes, I'm just
Okay.
thinking.
Oh,
They
okay,
know
sorry.
what. Yes, okay. I didn't see that part. They know what her goals are, but they still force her. I'm just wondering, Nadia, would you like to answer a couple of questions? I'm just wondering, Nadia, how are the goals of yours different to the goals of your parents? Would that be something that you would like to share? Not specifically, but
Hello,
just in general.
Miss Gupta.
Yes, hello, Nadia.
Like now, I'm currently studying French, but some parents, even my parents, my dad, also think, sometimes think, why did you choose that that major? What job you're gonna get in the future? Blah blah blah, and yeah, like I said before, I have explained to him patiently, okay, that yeah, I want to be a translator, blah blah blah, and maybe I want to study overseas and blah blah. I have goals, so yeah, I try to explain my goals as clearly as possible, and yet, yeah, you know, it doesn't end up well most of the time. So yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, sounds like your goals are, ideal for the career that you want to go down and want to become eventually, but it just doesn't seem to match with the ideal goals that your parents have for you, Nadia.
Yeah.
So, with this difference, and like you said, you've had the conversation, so you try to explain, but the disagreement of the goal is still there. So, Nadia, what is it that you feel that you would like to do now after the conversation that you've had with them?
For now, I'm trying to be focusing on my current study, and
You're trying to what?
to be focusing on my current study.
To be studying.
Yes, and then yeah, maybe in the future after I finish my current study, maybe I will apply for a job, or maybe continue my study. Maybe I'm gonna be taking master's degree. Yeah, that's my plan for now, at least for now.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. I acknowledge your ambition. Sounds like you're pursuing that no matter what. But I sense that you just want that agreement, that assurance moving forward.
Yes.
And that is something that you want to get out. And I'm just wondering, could it be that you continue with your goals as you say you are? Would that agreement with your parents come perhaps with time?
Yeah, sometimes I think my dad is but for now my dad is less forcing me to do what he wants, not as forceful as before. And now he still want to rethink about my decision. Is it right? Is it not? Yeah. And then yeah, I just told him that, well, this I am the one who do that, who take this decision. I'm the one who experience it. I'm the one who experiencing it, not you. And if I failed, so yeah.
Yeah, the responsibility is on you.
Yeah, like I told him that
Accountability is
my
on you.
future depends on me.
But how does that make you feel when you reflect that?
Yeah, I feel there's a relief because in the beginning I was kind of yeah, of course I feel anxious. How do I tell him blah blah blah? But yeah, I need to tell him. I knew that I need to tell him someday, and yeah, being able to explain it to him, yeah, it gives me a relief, a little bit. Yeah.
I sense that. Yeah, when it's a little bit emotional tone in your voice, but then also that power and that release of, I'm taking charge, so it's up to me in the end, when you said that. Well, thank you for this question. I hope this has helped you a little bit.
Yes, it's very helpful and
your journey
very
moving
insightful.
forward.
Thank you, Miss Gupta.
No problem. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, so we are going to the next question.
Okay.
As this is from Angelina Nova. Hi, thank you so much, Miss Nisha, for the outstanding presentation. My name is Angelina, and I would like to ask question. What to do if I'm feeling stuck in a situation where I want to be free from the past and just want to be focused on my potential and my future, but the memory of the past and the pieces from it still haunt me.
Thank you, Angelina Nova, for this question. This is very appropriate for us in this session. I'm glad you found the presentation somewhat useful. And this is about, gaining your focus and reaching your potential moving forward. But as you say, there is a little something in the past that is holding you back. Yeah. So it's almost, when I read that maybe, Angelina, a coaching session to explore your future goal and something that might come up with regards to your past situation in the coaching session that might help you to move forward through the process of coaching. Angelina? Angelina, would you like to get online? I don't know if she's there, Tinta.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Oh,
but my response to that is, to explore where she wants to go moving forward and
so Angelina
talk about that.
can open the audio, so
Yeah. I don't
she
know if
just
she's
can write.
online.
She can
Okay.
online, miss.
She's going to write, okay. She's asking, can I speak by microphone, please? Yes, she may.
That's Anastasia, not Angelina.
Oh, sorry.
So,
Okay, okay, okay. Shall I move on to the next question?
okay.
Or shall I wait? Okay.
Okay, so the next question is from Yayu Susi. Hello, my name is Yayu from Kebumen, Central Java. I'd like to ask about how do we can solve the bad behavior. Actually, I have some dream that life have to change, and I realized that good life have to brave to conquer the challenge of life. But in real condition, my parents have different opinion that life has to surrender to. Oh, it's the same sense from the previous question. So
Yeah.
I think it have two questions. The first is how do we can solve the bad behavior, and the second one is actually the different from the children and parents, and actually the same from the previous question.
Yeah, I mean, it's this, yeah, it's in essence, as you say, Tintin, similar question is the difference between what your parents want of you and what you want of you. And it's that difference between the parent and the child or the student. And like I said earlier, it's how strong do you want something and how are you prepared to have that conversation and ongoing conversations with your parents to describe and explain that this is what I want and this is who I am and this is my goal. And the other component is the bad behavior.
Bad behavior.
So it's my understanding the bad behavior of Yayu, is it?
Yes. Yayu. This question
Okay.
is from Yayu.
But I guess I need to know more about the bad behavior to be able to answer in what context, perhaps, would make it easier.
Yayu, can you open the audio or online? I think she can because there's no response
Okay.
from Yayu.
No, it's okay. But from what I'm seeing is you again, this would be a conversation to explore what is it that is making the bad behavior or causing the bad behavior, and really understanding of this type of behavior and how is that affecting the goals moving forward is my answer to that. Yeah, I hope that answers part of your question, Yayu.
Okay.
Thank you for the question.
So I think the question is already done. Can we back to the previous question, Nisha, from the Angelina?
And what was that? What are you asking me? Sorry.
Can we get back to the previous question from Angelina? So
Okay, I will
how
take it up. And what was that question?
the question is how we can focus
Angelina.
on the future and not stuck in the past.
Okay, okay. And is Angelina able to come online?
She said she can be online right now.
She can.
I'm sorry, I can only type.
Oh, she
I
cannot.
can only type on the
Oh,
computer.
sorry. Okay, sure. Okay. So, yeah, so Angelina, you want to, excuse me, focus on your future and what the potential is for you moving forward. But there is that memory in the past that you use the term haunts you, which is pretty strong. And it's almost like it's inhibiting you from moving forward in the future, and how to free yourself from that, because ultimately, Angelina, it sounds like you want to reach for your goals, but that's in the way. So I think what could possibly help is just exploring why or what it is that is getting in the way, that is haunting you, that is troubling you moving forward to get to your full potential. Because if that part, that history in the past is not addressed, perhaps maybe then that won't enable you to move forward. It's just hanging there, it's just there. So maybe having a conversation and exploring that part, that aspect, might give you a release or give you some realization or understanding or even closure to be able to move forward and unlock your true potential. That's my answer to that. Anastasia, if you cannot speak, if you can just put in the chat, does that answer your question somewhat?
Hello, Angelina. Are you still there?
Sorry, Angelina.
Okay.
That's okay.
We hope that answer your question. So
Yeah.
okay. Oh, she responded.
Okay.
For me, I actually tried to reach out to the problem.
Yeah.
But they still ignore the problem. Who's they?
Oh. Okay. Okay. So that's something, I guess, is a coaching conversation to have and talk about that problem and to find out what else you can do to put it in the past, is my answer. It seems like we've come to the end of the questions, is it?
Okay.
Tintin?
Okay. Okay.
Shall we get back to the presentation?
Okay.
And I just wanted to say
So
these coaching situations, it's given us a little bit of reality in a way to help you understand how coaching is. And it's quite useful in the sense that these questions that have come up is really that we do need to understand ourselves better. We do need to have the coaching conversations. We do need to understand what's happened to us to be able to move forward. So that ties in with our modules in my presentation that I talked about earlier.
okay. So we are going to continue the presentation, Nisha?
No? Okay.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
Did you share the presentation with me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't see it.
I already shared it. The presentation. I still
Yeah, I
share it.
know. Yes. Okay, hold on 1 second. View options. I'm just on a, my ratio is very small.
Maybe I can reshare
So
it.
I cannot, if you can, because
Yeah, I
I'm
will
not
stop.
able to open it up.
I will stop sharing and
Thank you.
reshare.
Thank you.
Can you see the presentation, Nisha?
Yes, I can. It's better
Okay.
now. So did you want to go? Oh, it's a bit large. Hold on 1 second. The view, it's like very magnified.
Oh. I'm sorry, I can't help you from here.
Okay, let me see if I can do it on my end. Hold on. One second. Sorry to do 100. Okay, better. So yeah, we're coming up to module 3. And basically the third session that I'm going to present is that so far we've understood ourselves better, we've asked the right questions, we've looked at our types of personality, we've also seen what makes us unique, and then we've adapted to the, you know, the competencies. Are we actively listening? Are we present? Are we, you know, looking at the social cues within ourselves and understanding our, asking ourselves the deep questions? And this brings us to the third module in this session. And I call it, we call it a new habit because we've learned something about ourselves. We've explored something about ourselves that we may perhaps not have known at the beginning of the session, or we found something that is a strength to our character, or something that can enable us to go for a goal, or even something new about ourselves that can create a new goal that we want to get to, and we want to unlock. So many new things. So it's new habit is an appropriate word, I feel, because it's something that is, you know, in a sense, a new style, a new feature, something that I have as unique for myself to reach my potential. And in this new habit, it involves creating a development plan. And the development plan is all the components that will enable us to reach for our goal, such as, what are my goals? Earlier I said, what are your goals 2-3 years down the line? But then also, what are my short-term goals, including the long-term goals? So there's both types. Another question could be, what are the indicators showing the goals have been achieved? For example, if I have a goal, what are the milestones that I've achieved the goals? Also, what am I doing, noticing that I'm adapting to these goals? Sometimes when I explore myself and I know about myself and I'm reaching for my goals, I will see perhaps a personality change or an adaptation to myself. What am I noticing about myself going for these goals? Another part of this could be, what further supports do you need in order to achieve the goals? Although I'm noticing, I'm adapting, I'm changing, I'm a new habit to achieve these goals, what else do I need to further adapt myself to these goals? Another question could also be, this is a growth. I talked about learning, and it's a growing period. We are growing to our goals. We're learning about ourselves. So at this stage, as I'm adapting to this new habit and creating my custom development plan, I might ask myself, what is it that I have learned at this stage? Because that is very important, because at every stage, we need to take a step back and have a self-reflection and understand, what is it that I've learned about myself? What is it that is new? What is it that I've become aware of myself? And how is it this helping me to adapt, to become a new version of myself? Question 6 is, how would you hold yourself to be accountable to achieve this? Not only are you growing and changing and adapting and customizing a development plan and assessing who you also are this new person on this roadmap to self-discovery. So you also need to make sure that this new style of myself, this new adaptation, am I truly accountable? Am I going to say who I am? At the beginning, I was this. Now I am this. At the end, I'm going to be this. Am I going to be accountable for those changes? That's only you that needs to have that question with yourself, and be accountable and have the support team that is needed to be able to hold yourself accountable. Question 7 is, check your self-perception against others. You know, sometimes you're adapting, you're changing, you're becoming a new person. You don't want, you also want to make sure the people who are in your journey are also have the same self-perception against, have the same perception with yourself. Are they seeing the new person? Are they accepting who you are? Are they understanding the growth of this new person? Because they will be part of your support team on your journey as you adapt to the new you. Question 8, create and execute your personal development plan. Now, at this stage, you've seen the new changes, you've seen what is necessary. how do you become that new person? Now you have to execute that plan moving forward. And finally, after you execute the plan, the last stage I put is you need to excuse me, you need to review and evaluate and reassess who you are in order to reach and execute and deliver that development plan, that self-development individual plan of yourself. And that to me is the final stage of this module. Thank you. Do we have any more questions?
Yes, we have one last question from
Okay.
Miss Hatsune Miku. Thank you for your question. Hello, Miss Nisa.
Okay.
Oh, I'm Fana, 20 years
Hello.
old, and I'm still a student in Universitas Pembangunan Jaya, Bintaro, majoring psychology. If I can be honest, I have so many trouble in my life, like my English isn't good enough, but actually you good enough, your English. I have low confidence and high anxiety, but overall I always trying to do the best for myself, but sometimes I feel give up because of my family, friends, and environment that doesn't support me. And to be honest, I always want to get out of my comfort zone. I want to challenge myself in speaking a foreign language like English language. So how should I deal with the current situation, and how can I overcome social anxiety? Thanks a bunch, Miss Nisa and Mr. Tinta. Okay.
Thank you for the question, Hatsune. Yeah, it sounds like there's a few challenges coming your way or has come your way, and it's affecting you with your environment, your family, and so forth. And it's wonderful, as I'm reading this, to see that you are always wanting to get out of your comfort zone. So I want to acknowledge you for your confidence, because to me, that is very confident and powerful for you to want to get out of your comfort zone and to get away from the pressures. So that's wonderful. And also the fact that you want to challenge yourself to speak a foreign language is also very, I give you a lot of acknowledgement for doing that. And Hatsune, it's almost like, if I may say, that you've already halfway there. You say you want to get out your comfort zone and you want to learn a foreign language, and you are dealing with all of these challenges around you. But ask yourself the question, and it seems that, what is it that you truly want from yourself moving forward with regard to this particular situation? May I ask you that question, Hatsune, if you'd like to come online?
Hello, Fana. Can you open the audio to online? Hello, Fana. Are you still there, Fana?
Oh. I don't hear her.
Okay. I
But
think
I guess I'll just answer without her. Unfortunately, can't see, she can't come online. That's okay. But I want to thank her for her question. But yeah, I mean, a lot of challenges as I'm reading this, but I still see the force of her coming through, the determination to get out of the comfort zone. But it will be a challenge. But it's almost like the more you try, the more you can get out of it. It becomes a little bit more easier. You keep the persistency of it, as I guess I can say. The same thing goes with the previous question, that the young lady had the conversation with her parents whose goal is different to hers, but she said it got easier with time. So it's almost like I can ripple off of that particular instance and share it here, that the more that she persists with the language and with her goals and with her true desires, the easier the barrier becomes. It's almost like the barrier, the blockages may at a point shrink over time, because her desire, her persistency, her goal, I sense, I'm not hearing her, but I sense is there. So that is her power, I guess. Unfortunately, I can't speak with her to get the full full sense of the question, but I hope that helps her.
Yeah. Hello, Fana. We hope that answer your question and somewhat help you. And then we are already in the end of our session. Thank you, Coach Nisha, for your
Thank
time.
you, Paddington. Thank you
for your
all.
lecture.
Thank you for your great questions.
Thank you for your lecture today. And thank you for all participants that join us today in our session. We hope the session somewhat can help you to reach your goal. But I want to remind you that we still have another 2 sessions to unlock your true potential. So this is just the beginning. We hope that you can join us in the next module, the second and the third module, so you all can open or unlock your true potential. And before we closing this session, maybe can you all could you open your video so we can take a picture together? Okay. Hello. Hello, Rafika, Anastasia, Nadia.
Hello.
Can you open audio?
Hello.
Halo, Norika. Video ya, video. Sorry, video.
Oh.
Video, I'm sorry to take a picture. Okay, thank you, Rafika, to open your video. Thank you, Gina, Nadia. Thank you, Yayun, Anastasia, Ezra, Fana, Adinda. Terima kasih sudah membuka videonya. Oke, kita masih tunggu ya sampai hitungan 10 biar lebih rame lagi foto barengnya nih. Yuk kita kalau boleh buka videonya sebentar buat teman-teman semua.
I want to thank you for your kind comments and your thank yous. I thank you all back. I'm just reading them as they're popping up on the screen. Thank you so much.
Oke, kita hitung ya sampai 10 deh. Kita tungguin sampai ada yang buka video lagi. 1, 2, 10. Oke. Kita mulai ya. Foto barengnya ada berapa slide nih, Kak? Ada 2 slide aja. Siap-siap ya. Jadi kita ngambil foto 2 kali nih. Dalam hitungan ketiga ya. Gaya yang paling oke. 1, 2, 3. Sekali lagi. 1, 2, 3. Oke, terima kasih semuanya. Mudah-mudahan bermanfaat. Sampai ketemu lagi di sesi berikutnya. Saya Tinton dari SLA, mewakili tim, mengucapkan terima kasih buat semuanya sudah hadir pada kesempatan hari ini. Dan jangan lupa juga isi absennya biar nama di sertifikatnya benar gitu ya. Terima kasih semuanya. Selamat sore. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Makasih Coach Nisha.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Dah.
Shall I disconnect?
Yes, you can. Thank you, Coach.
Okay.
Yes, you can have the seminar recording for Tia Zurahmah. Thank you. Mm-mm.